Hello everyone and welcome to new Star Wars Rebels Season 2 episode review, The Honorable Ones. Of course hosted by none other than Lord of Shadows. I mean, who else? Okay, so here's the thing. So, this episode was, I have to say, was actually simple. But then again, I mean, so, warm, so warm, a little bit dramatic, epic, and it was really interesting and cool to watch because since the first time I saw like the short plot about this episode, like Kallus and Zeb is gonna be trapped in one of the moons of Geonosis, and they're gonna like work together to like came out and everything, because I knew when I saw the first, like I said, short plot, I already knew that in this episode Kallus is gonna change. Yeah, I said Kallus is gonna change. Because even after seeing the episode, I know that Kallus is going to change. Like for example, like Minister Tua in the Siege of the Fall. Even she was a minor character, she changed and tried to help the rebels. So I also believe that maybe Kallus is going to do the same thing. Maybe a little bit harder, but that's how I see it. Okay. So with all being said, let's just go back off, from the beginning to the end. So in the beginning, like out of nowhere, you have like rebels. Also, we have Captain Rex in it. I mean, it's really great to see him. Go like to Geonosis, and like and out of nowhere, like they found like this abandoned space station and stuff like that. I mean, I know that a few were saying like there were like some kind of mini Death Stars. I mean, I know there was a talk about them, from the beginning of the creation of the real Death Star or something. So they enter in the station. They found that it was a trap. We had a little bit of a fight. Of course, Chopper doing crazy things like like always, And I'm going to tell you, even if you already know, Chopper is one of a kind. Chopper is one of a kind because, like, the way how he fight that black droid, it actually was an Imperial droid who, like, tried to capture them. Of course, out of nowhere, like, stormtroopers came, with Agent Kallus and tried to fight because, after all, Zeb was right. My guts tell me this is a trap. And he was right. He was fucking right. And, like, when they ordered him, like, Chopper, go, like, to unlock the door. Stop that droid. And of course, like, and the way how he was running right to the droid and jump and strike him down, and the fight they had, and then after, of course, the end, he electrocuted him. But the fight, Chopper is one of a kind. I have to say, Chopper is one of a fucking kind. I mean, he is one of my favorite droids alongside R2-D2 and C-3PO. I mean, Chopper, like I say, Chopper for the third time. Chopper is one of a fucking kind. One of a fucking kind. So after, like I said, we didn't have actually in this episode, we didn't actually have a lot about, the lightsaber duels. But it was kind of cool, because the only thing Kanan and Ezra did was like dodging the guns of the stormtroopers. The only ones who had a really, good fight were Zeb and, of course, Chopper against the black Imperial droid. I mean, those two in this episode was the only fights that was really interesting to me, especially seeing Chopper in action. I mean, it's always when you see, it's always great and so funny when you see Chopper go in action. Not only, I'm not saying only that, but I believe also everyone is saying that, So okay, let's move on. So after the fight was ended, they tried. Of course, Zeb tried to stand like okay, you can escape. I will follow you with the Imperial, with the escape pod, And of course, like Zeb entering the escape pod, and who was behind him, Kallus, of course. After a little bit of fight, instead of landing in Geonosis, they landed in one of his moons, which actually is like landing on Antarctica, because it was full of, it was full of, then knows. It was full because it's full of ice, snow, and winter and everything. You know what it is. Freezing time. It's freezing time. So, of course, they landed on one of the moons, and of course, there's where the real point of the episode starts. Because, like I said, when I first saw the short plot about this episode, I already knew that this episode was going to bring some changes. And when I say changes, I mean to Agent Kallus, because just, if you saw the episode, just seeing them, they start arguing, against each other. Then, they start to respect each other and help each other, of course, and then in the end, in some way they start to befriend each other. You know, Kallus and Zeb, and of course, you know, the like Zeb, like they had this like warm welcome, you know, from the ghost, like, you know, we're glad you're alive, you know, and everything, let's go. And Kallus, when he like arrived to the Star Destroyer, you know, saying like, I know with the like, I mean, what the fuck is wrong with the Empire? I mean, he has a broken leg, and still, you know, like he said, Admiral Constantine, Agent Kallus, I don't give a damn about you, you know. I mean, that's the Empire. I mean, that's actually the point of the Empire, because if they find that they lost a small officer, they don't give a damn about him. Of course, you know, but after like he's rescued, like they try to pretend like, oh, it's good to, you know, it's good to have you back, but well, not every time. Not every time, because our caliber, like Agent Kallus, you know, they were just like, So in some way, like he understand, you know, in some way he was confused, because like, you know, at the beginning he felt like the Empire like was the hero, you know, like the true leaders and everything. And then at the end, after seeing some way, you know, what Zeb tried to explain to him, and of course, you know, like the real face, you know, like that nobody give a damn about him, he's gonna start to change. He's gonna start to change himself, you know. And I also believe, I mean, I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I believe that Kallus is going, like I said, he's going to change, and I think he's going to be part of the rebellion, or try to help, like Minister Tua in Siege of Lothal, try to help the rebellion. I did believe that. I did believe that Zeb and Kallus at the end, they can not only be partners but also friends, and of course he's going to help the rebellion. That's the way how I see it. The one thing also I forgot to mention about this episode, which actually, like I said, the plot, the story was actually really good. Actually really good, because in this entire episode, the one thing was all about is teamwork. Because like I said, Zeb and Kallus landed in, like I said, on one of the moons, and they had to give everything in their, and they have to give everything in their power, to say it that way, power to try to get out. Also, the one thing I forgot to mention, you know, also in this episode we have a new creature from the Star Wars universe, and technically it's some kind of an ice creature somewhere between a bird and a lizard, something like that, you know. And if I remember correctly, how they said it's called Bonzami. I think it's Bonzami, I'm actually sure, because I know that when I heard that they called Bonzami, I remember that if I remember correctly, Bonzami is an anagram to Zamboni, which actually is some kind of a large ice cleaning machine at ice rinks. The one thing I forgot to mention is, you know, why I really find this episode interesting, because we find out a lot more about two things. About the massacre on Zeb's home planet, and how the hell Kallus get the rifle of the Lassats. So let's begin with the rifle thing, okay? So in the way how Kallus explained it, him and some kind of some other agents, like they came to the planet, you know, and of course like the Lassat thing, like they were under invasion or something, you know, and of course they attacked them, and then out of nowhere he said like this big, like, you know, warrior Lassat, who was, in the way how he explained, one of the guardians of the royal family. If I understand correctly, you know, so they tried to fight each other, and of course, you know, this Lassat guardian was defeated, and he gave him the rifle. Even if Kallus didn't at the beginning didn't really fucking understand why he would give him the rifle, because, like, you know, Zeb tried to explain, it's, you know, it's a old like Lassat tradition, when they found, you know, that someone else is stronger than them, they give him his weapon, you know. Because, you know, I know at the beginning, you know, the first episode in the first season, you know, where like Kallus said, like, you know, I know, I took away the rifle from one of them, you know. At the beginning, yes, you can think like he really killed them, you know, and everything, and make like this whole massacre and everything, you know. And of course, like he took it by force. But in this episode, you can finally understand what really happened, what actually really happened, and that is, you know, like I said, the Lassat guardian was defeated, and he gave him the rifle, you know, as a tradition, like, because like he's stronger than him. I mean, the Lassats, I have to say, you know, as warriors, they really have this way. They really have traditions, like, you know, in the real history, like medieval, like all like medieval warriors, you know, samurais. No, samurais are doing the Harakiri thing, you know. No. I mean, like the old medieval warriors, you know, and even the Crusaders, because, you know, every single time when, for example, a knight is defeated, he always give him like his sword, like, because he showed himself, like, you know, like, because by saying like, you vanquished me, accept this sword to prove like you're stronger than me and everything, you know. And that's, you know, you get the idea. That's what, you know, I mean, because that's the way how I see it, you know, when I'm talking about the Lassat and everything. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is we find out in this episode is like what really happened there, because like Kallus said, what happened like to his home planet was never meant to be a massacre, but of course, you know, the Empire was trying to be an asshole, you know, and to make an example, you know. And of course, like Kallus said, he took the credit after, you know. Even if what Kallus said, it wasn't meant to be a massacre, which actually, you know, I can really tell he was really sincere, you know. Even, I mean, of course, you know, after everything was done for him, you know, like try to touch the rifle, you know, to like to make his like you know his leg, you know, a little bit better now, try to walk and everything. I mean, you can already see they're trying to be friends, you know, even if you know even if they're different, because Zeb is one of the rebellion and Kallus is a member of the Empire. I mean, it's a big difference, you know. But you know they say even an enemy can become a friend of a hero. You know, that's a very old saying. So I mean, with all being said, I think I'm done. Yeah, I think I'm done with the episode. Yeah, I mean, there was, like I said, there was the entire episode. Like I said, very simple, but the relationship between Kallus and Zeb, you know, trying to survive, being trapped together and everything, and then at the end, being befriending each other, you know, and it was really, you know, very touching, very cool, epic, and a little bit dramatic. And then, of course, like I said, one thing I wish to say is, two things I wish to say at the end of this episode. First, like I said, for the 4 or 5 times, Kallus is going to change. That's number 1. Number 2, after this episode is done, we're finally going to continue, I believe like that, we're going to continue with the Inquisitors. With the Inquisitors, and just like the trailer, maybe we're going to even see Darth Vader before the finale. So, here I am done. In overall, this episode was actually simple, like I said, but very, very cool. And watchable, and very, you know, in some sort of way, beautiful. You know, like seeing like 2 enemies, you know, to make a teamwork to survive, you know. So I will give him a good plus. I will give him a good ordinary plus to this episode. So here I am done. Rate the video, comment, subscribe. Give us the example what you personally think about this episode. Give me your own like personal opinions about what you think about the teamwork between Kallus and Zeb. What you really think is going to happen next? You know, do you really think that Kallus is going to change? You know, short terms. Give me your own personal opinions about these episodes, and in the comment section down below. Drop a like, I appreciate that. Peace everyone. Have an awesome rest of the day. Laurel Shows, like always, signing off.